My name is Ras Tafari, aka Baba Tariq Oduno, aka Baba Oduno. I want to thank Ras Kwasi, the family, the Lion's Voice, and it is time appropriately for the Lions to tell our story, where our noble ancestors will be honored, and we know that we have not been a negligible factor in the history of our story in the world. Thank you very much. There is no culture without agriculture. And without agriculture, I don't even want to think about it. Peace.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
Yes, this is Tippy I. The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the Lion's Voice vlog. Respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Rastafari.
To the brethren's point, before anything comes from the West, we need to have the ability to test it. That's the main thing that I take away. We need to have the own scientists deconstruct. Don't just take, just like you don't take a split from a man that's rolled already. Pre-roll. Rastafari brethren and sisters don't deal with pre-roll. We have to see the herb and inspect and know, because I go lace I thing and then say Ray. No. You know what I mean? We don't share spliff either, because life people that live the dirty lifestyle, they're out there in the fecal federation, in the pink eye posse, doing all manner of abomination. So, we don't share spliff a road and them thing there. Disciplined family. These are the things that we are talking about now. Is militant time, Armageddon time, World War III time. So build your family, love your family, stay disciplined, stay within the confines. Brethren, if you're trotting single, search for the queen, vet the queen. We have videos on that. We're going to be talking about the lion love so that you can find your queen to help. You need that helpmate right now to execute your purpose.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. Yeah, I'm a Gideon. Cataclysmic forces, good over evil. Yeah, for the ghetto youth worldwide. Yeah. I see the youths nowadays, they growing up. Wanna know the truth, they wanna know what's up. They got no fear now, they'll call you bluff. They asking questions cause they had enough. Why? Some gone astray cause times is tough. Some walk with the machine ready to bust. Armageddon things get dangerous. No, the ghetto things get dangerous. On the battlefield things get dangerous. Them carry RPG, M16. Got a problem to wipe out your whole team. For American dream, them get scanned and lost. And put us into the ghetto, try abandon us. Cause we the remnant of the first sons of Kush. Warrior tribes, we not the ones to push. Just look into them history, see we rebellious. That's cause them systems so unjust. Take the shackles and chains, change them to handcuffs. Release your physical frame, them want your brain. Them a vampire looking for blood to drain. Haile, Selassie come and break every chain. Bob Marley, tell them, now we tell them again, yo. We tell them this ain't a game, but this a Armageddon, you got to mentally train. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, but this is heaven on earth, or go burn in the flames. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, I say I gotta play your hate, cause some things gotta change. I tell them this ain't a game, but this a time for African people to rise. I tell them, earthquake, hurricane, tornado, the wind blows and bring the rains.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion's Voice and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where we are bringing cutting-edge Rastafari content to the global Pan-African Rastafari family. And that being said, this episode we are looking at some of the things I see circulating in the WhatsApp chat about what's happening right now. This channel is about the building of Zion, but we are in the information age where information is circulating across the four corners of creation, and we want to talk about it because this is not a fantasy channel, meaning that we know that there are people who seek to destroy Africa, Africa liberation, all of these things, the building of Zion that we're talking about. There's a reason why it hasn't happened. There's a reason why when Haile Selassie sat on the throne, that the earth didn't transform into an Edenic paradise one time. If he was unopposed, if there were no nefarious characters, the world would have transformed into an Edenic paradise. However, there are forces that are trying to destroy what we're doing, and we want to make sure that the family, we are aware that these things are happening in real life, and we want to just take a look at them. And some of them, these are theories that are out there. We did some additional research just to find some additional facts on some of the things. We're going to use them according to fair use. I don't know the source, but I think the content of what the people are saying bears, witness so that we can reason on it as the Lion Pride, and that we have an awareness. There is a thing called population control agenda. I am a firm believer in that. I can't show you cited sources, and I have to say this very clearly. I'm an attorney, so we have to be responsible. We come on these platforms, so we have to. But the reasoning, I am Rastafari, I'm a Naya Bingi man, so we can have the reasoning, up in the heights, looking at what's happening and see what we can, how does it inform what we're doing. And for the attacks and these things, we fight not flesh and blood, but principalities and powers, spiritual wickedness in high and low places. These are things that we learn coming into the triad, and they are so applicable. Because really, as individuals, it's daunting. We cannot go up against the military might of those who, and you'll see in the clips, what they're doing in terms of all kind of things. And even when we read the book of Revelation, for those who take it to a biblical foundation, you see that there were angels with vials pouring out plagues and pestilence and all of these things. And when you see all the biological labs, that being inflicted on the people intentionally, it's not difficult to draw the correlation between what the prophets saw up in the heights and how it manifests, how it's executed on the physical reality within this realm. So all of these things, I think, as the Lion Pride, because remember, this is I tribe that we're cultivating here. This section of the internet is very niche. So we're going to make sure that the Lion Pride, we're all on the same page, that we know when we're talking about the building of Zion, it's not a fantasy. We think that everybody's going to be trying to help us, and we're going to be skipping. And this is why, for the young brethren, because the channel is 95% male, this is why the discipline is so important. This is why the diligence is so important, because in order to cut through all of these principalities and power, you really have to embody that Haile Selassie discipline and trod right now. Focus on your purpose, manifest your purpose. Don't get distracted out in the streets, wasting time doing this and that, and really seek to manifest. Because if you're an instrument in the building of Zion, which I and I all pray that we are, and that's what we work toward daily, is to be useful in this building, because we want to see this manifestation. There's no guarantees as a living being. Worse, you're in the West, in the heart of Babylon. I tell Rastafari brethren all the time, I've been to Africa. If the doors close tomorrow and nobody in the West don't get to travel Africa fine. Rastafari is there. Everything Africa needs is within her. Is the grace and the mercy and the tenderness of Mama make her reach out her hands and say, come, we can take, all who hunger, to return. Come home. So we have to be very diligent in terms of pursuing this aim. This is a repatriation channel. We will be bringing the fullness and the reality of repatriation on the channel. We're going to be starting to interview some of our brethren on the continent, so stay tuned for that on Lion Talk. Exclusive interviews with brethren who have returned home and brethren who born and raised on the continent. That's going to start shortly. We have so much. We have started a new show on the network, Lion Love. The first episode just dropped. We now have 5 programs on the network. We have The Lion's Voice, which is this program, our flagship program. We now have Lion Talk, where we interview people on the front lines of the Rastafari and Panafrican movement, and also people who are just making the world a better place. Then we have Lion Talk Live, where we go live with the Pan-African, same Rastafari frontline warriors. And, Lion Talk Live, the audience, the Lion Pride here, is more interactive. You're able to ask questions, so it's more of a conversation. And then we have Lion Law, where we talk about topics that, pertain to the creative industry and the law. We have a new episode that will be coming. Stay tuned. We're keeping up with the workload. And now we started Lion Love. Lion Love is where we're going to be looking and exploring at relationships within the Rastafari community. We just dropped the first episode. It's doing very well on the channel, bringing some more life forward into the channel. We interviewed Empress Genie, and it was a powerful conversation. She was talking about her journey to find love as a Rastafari sister. Check it out.
And I'm wondering if a lot of single brethren, because people talk about, people put up this air of righteousness in the public. But I think some of it too could be that, because a lot of the Rastas say one thing, but they're chasing the quote unquote sexy body ladies, them who are out there showing the things. Does virtuous equate to boring? Is the virtuous woman, because I know a lot of brethren are afraid that I'm going to be with this virtuous woman and I'm going to touch her and she's going to read a psalm for me. I'm not going to get that little love in there where I need to, to feel good as a man. And, men, regardless, men regardless are physical people, we're physical beings as a married man, my wife can say. But to talk, it does virtuous mean boring? This is what the brethren them want to know.
True. So I'm an energy woman, so I believe in different types of energy. I'm a Capricorn, so people automatically think I'm boring. So I like to tell people it's not that I'm boring, it's just that if I don't know you, I'm not about to waste my energy truly letting you see who I am. I consider myself a comedian. Anybody who knows me knows that I am hilariously funny. I love to do goofy things. I love to go on nature walks. I love to travel. I love to learn. I love to talk to animals. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd about animals and everything nature-y.
Yes.
But Dejkwasi does not equate to being boring. or lack of entertainment. What it is a lot of men, I'm gonna be a little bit this may be sensitive subject.
Go there. We have to
True.
talk.
When you say that a lot of men think that virtuosity means you're boring and, intimacy is lacking, a lot of men don't realize that a virtuous woman, actually her needs are different than the average woman. And if you're not,
talk about it.
if you're not fulfilling the virtuous woman's needs, she's not going to be able to perform. A lot of men think that it's an easy button, and then there's this stigma about when women get older, oh, they can't, blah, 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 blah. It's not that. It's when a woman gets older, that easy button, it doesn't work that hard, because now, oh, we can see through your BS. We can see the fact that you're just trying to do this to get us in bed. No, you're going to actually have to put in the work. We still work just as if we were 20, just as if we were 19. But now you have to actually put in the work, because we're older, we're more knowledgeable, we know what we're worth, and we want you to put in that work. And that's just how physically how it goes. Women also like to be, we like entertainment. So a virtuous woman is not
this is what we want to know. What is this work? Man, I think, wow, much homework I have to do with this virtuous woman.
Mighty. So you can see that we are doing what we set out to do when we started the channel. All of these were part of the Lion's Voice. We're breaking them out into separate programming because we understand each topic, each program might have a separate audience. It's a lot of work, so you can see the schedule. We're temporarily suspending the formalized schedule. The episodes will drop when they drop, but we're committed to making sure we have daily content for the platform. But in terms of the programs, because we're just a film, we're working. We have some big things that we're working on behind the scenes, as usual, that we will be announcing shortly. Big up St. Croix family. We haven't stopped that. We have so much St. Croix content. I'm trying to edit it, get it out. We have big interview with iconic dancehall selector Danny Dread, working on that. We're gonna push that out shortly. Let's pick up in. Where did the Rastafari journey begin? Because most interviewers now go going at the Rastafari part.
No,
that's
it begin, so it begin from Green from because the whole of my brother them was Rasta.
Okay.
I go come see them as Rasta man in the yard. You have like man who used to come there every Sunday, like most of the time Bonnie Whalers come there, Peter Touch come check my brother. Yeah. So that's how we get to know Peter Touch and Bonnie Whalers through my brother.
Legends are passed through your yard.
Yeah.
But they were not legends at that time. They just...
Yeah, them was just coming like, young whalers and thing. And, them just out.
Were they Rastafari at that time when
yes.
they were coming to the yard? So that's when their early journey, when them start put on them locks.
Yeah, them start put on like Bob Marley. When the Bob Marley never used to come out.
Yeah.
Bob, when we know Bob Marley, him hear them just like young and just a push out like mighty. So you can see the channel we're developing. I have to big up the Lion Pride and the Lion Pride on Patreon. Fire Angels in the Patreon. Big up Ramia King Design sponsoring the platform. Also a member of the Lion Pride. Big up my sister Ipori. Big up yourself, one of my colleagues. Big up Mama Walete, Dr. Walete. Big up Sian. And make sure you buy Dr. Walete's book, by the way. And big up Sister Rashida, who also supporting the platform. We have family in the Lion Pride on Patreon, and I'm welcoming the entire family to come and support. We're going to be shouting out Patreon members. If you have a small business you want to get shouted out on the episodes to the family, join the Patreon. I'll be doing those shout outs for our small businesses. If you love the content on the platform, join the Patreon. We are building a multimedia platform. The object is the production studio in Accra, Ghana. We want to make sure that Rastafari has top tier content that's being produced at intentionally professional standards. That's how the thing for set. We don't have that currently. And even as I'm doing this service, recognizing the need to have the media platform as a creative, also building my own tribe as a creative. There's different things that you call your audience. Some in the music, it's a super fan, your tribe. We say the Lion Pride. We put some branding on it, and this is things that every creative should be building their own tribe. Every business should be building their own tribe. These are the people who support what you do, and this is very crucial to the creative ecosystem model that I am currently working to bring forward to the family. And we'll be talking a lot more about the creative ecosystem on the Lion Law. If you want to check that out, go check the Lion Law. We talk about it. Different episodes. We'll be launching a toolkit in the new year. Whole heap of things happening, as I say, behind the scenes. But the object is to get our family creatively and economically viable. So direct to consumer is crucial. So as I come as a media platform, the key to being able to stay independent, do what we need to do, is to have a direct to consumer relationship. Again, support the platform. Don't just watch and smile. Know that this is the Armageddon, and the quicker we can get the thing up to the top level is the better that it can serve the community, the global family, because we want to start to travel, we want to upgrade the equipment, we want to hire different teams in different places. Rastafari Media, I want the idea to vision it, because I am having that vision and we're executing it with the tools that we have right now until we can get to the production where we can have our own multimedia, all kind of thing. You know what I mean? And we can tell stories in multiple formats as they pertain. I would love to see a Bongo Daya feature film. Bongo Daya, for those who don't know, walk from England to Ethiopia, hitchhiking, boat, this, that, walking until he reached Shashamane, just through the Irish, no money in his pocket, faith, courage, determination. Them man, they need a feature film. We have so many stories within the Rastafari, the Hills Trad, the I Bridging them, the Bird Eye Imple them, documentaries. We need, there's so much content within the family, and these are the things that are going to help us preserve the culture for the next generation and get people interested in maintaining and continuing the culture at the high level. So we have to invest in that family if we want to see that happen. It don't happen just because we think it's a good thing to happen, and there's the generation gap that is taking place currently. We have to address it. That being said, I want to get into, again, the topic of the episode. Let's go into some of these clips.
In Africa was to reduce the population. So to give aid to countries in Africa, not clean water and schooling and things like that, but contraception and abortion, in order to shrink the population of Africa, because they have great mineral resources there.
That sounds diabolical.
Yes.
That sounds like something conceived in the mind of Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, definitely. And so at the time, Kissinger and those involved with the Carter administration wanted to shrink the population, make sure that the Africans do not develop and do not use the resources for themselves, because we in the States, we need them. There is a concerted effort of foreign powers to control the population of Africa. Africa is a huge continent, could feed thousands more people, but the policies of the West, especially in Europe. For example, between 1990 and the year 2000, the United States, Canada, and Europe contributed about $6 billion in contraceptives, not to help the people, not to give clean water, clean food. That is
not to fight malaria, for example.
No, of course, perish the thought, never. Yeah. Let them die. That's the whole idea. So in our work in HLI, we denounced this reality to make the Africans aware that they have to defend themselves against the influence of foreign powers.
So you can see is a very clear war against a liberated Africa. You know, you can see the brethren them are talking about you know, the global or the globalist designs that Africa should not rise, that Africa has too many people, depopulation. They want to keep Africa at war to have access to the cheap resources. You know, while there is chaos, they can extract. They don't have to pay market value from developed societies with a bustling middle class. And you know what if you look at the last episode, we had a retired military intelligence officer, Scott Ritter, who was talking about, you know, how Africa is going to develop and be a leader in the green revolution and all these things. I played that. I found out also after that there are some allegations against the brethren of, you know, inappropriate behavior. But you know, that's another thing. Them, you know, everybody have them flaws. And of course, if them man they're coming out of the intelligence and doing all of these high things, the skeleton in that man the closet is going to be massive on all front, because you know, wickedness a lot of them man they perpetrate on the earth. However, his take on Africa I thought was useful, but it also shows that the intelligence and all of these communities are looking at the same things that I and I are looking at. So don't be naive. How Julius Nyerere had to face, Kwame Nkrumah had to face, you know, Steve Biko, all of these ones, Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, all of these ones had to face when they tried to raise up the living standard in their countries full of minerals and resources, what they encountered. So that is very clear. So as Rastafari, and we talked about this with Ras IAV, you know, our voice is very silent on this kind of global issue and speaking out for the continent. We don't have any top Rastafari voices, and that's why, again, Lion's Voice, we can reason with one, so people can see in the Pan-African community we're not just insular dealing with Rastafari. No, we are here as a part of the complete liberation of the continent. And again, you can see the reasoning. It's not just I and I say these things, you know. You have Europeans who are also discussing these things. So let's go into the next clip.
Intentionally using synthetic molecules, which by design are cancer, AIDS, all of the bogeymen we could dream up.
Yeah, it's for the purpose of sterilization and population control. There's too many people on the planet we need to get rid of. In the words of Bill Gates, at least 3 billion people need to die. So we'll just start off in Africa. We'll start doing our research there, and we'll eliminate most of the Africans because they're deplorable. They're worthless. They're not part of this world economy. So they have their rights taken away, and they're suppressed, and they're experimented.
And
again, we fight not flesh and blood, but principalities and powers, spiritual wickedness in high and low places. You can see people, what we are dealing with. Again, we're using all of this through fair use. I don't know the sources. We're using it as discussion material. So the population control agenda, serious. We can see that there's no going around that. You know, people are very open, and it's pushed through contraception on the front page. But we know things are nefarious. We know they use Africa as a testing ground. You know, we know that the conditions in Africa are manufactured. Large part Africa is fertile. Africa is wealthy, but Africa is kept in a certain level to serve the global agenda, and we have to, you know, this is why literacy is so key. This is why when His Majesty came to power, his first priority was education, because what use is it? And this is what flies in the face of when people talk about tyrant and this and that. That's why we laugh after them and we don't take them serious when you use them word there to describe the king, because tyrants don't invest in the education of their people. They don't put resources into ensuring that their people can think for themselves. That's not a tyrant that's doing that, family. So this is why, you know, some people just chat foolishness and you listen and, you know, you address it appropriately. But when you know the facts about the king, then they cannot shake the faith that we have, because the work, and I keep saying that on any forum, any debate that I have about His Majesty, the work speaks for itself. You know, this is not the action of a tyrant. This is the action of someone who's building a nation in the face of opposition. You know, it's not fantasy. We still have to deal with rebellion. We still have to deal with the challenges, and it's messy and it's dirty work, because people put you in these situations if you don't respond. And ultimately, His Majesty took a militant stand for peace, choosing not to resort to violence of any kind, therefore establishing peace on earth. The highest of Himself shall establish I and I, the coming of Shiloh. It's there in the history book. They said he was crazy. He had gone senile, allowing himself to go into house arrest when he could have made a phone call and had several military divisions mobilized, the citizens in the countryside mobilized, all of them something there. So, you know what I mean? His Majesty chose to let things unfold as the people who he had educated were determining at that particular moment. And Ethiopia still stands to this day. Ethiopia still developing to this day along the same lines of development that were established by His Imperial Majesty. So we don't have to, again, when the detractors come, we let the work speak, and that's why you have to educate yourself on the work.
And they deserve to get this vaccine first. And from there, you want to do tiering in various countries to make sure your most vulnerable populations get it. In our country, that would be blacks and Native Americans, blacks and Native Americans, blacks and Native Americans.
And if you are black or African American and you're listening to this, you need to know the truth about how you are being targeted for extermination. You and your children and your grandchildren and your parents, you are all being targeted for extermination. Now, to some extent, we are all being targeted in different ways, because there is a depopulation agenda that wants to reduce the entire global population to about 1 billion people. But it seems, from observing the way they're doing this, they sure do want to get rid of black people first. And they're actively doing it. It's happening right now. It's right under your nose. Most people have no clue that it's going on. And the scientific community is working to exterminate you. It's the scientists. It's the pharmacology evildoers. It's the drug companies. It's the vaccine companies. It's the abortion providers.
So you can see Bill, Melinda Gates, and talking about the need to experiment in Africa. And you know, there's a famous TED Talks that circulates with Bill Gates talking about vaccines and depopulation. And I did some research. There's a lot of online, I have to say, to be fair, of news stories that are run in regards to Bill Gates clarifying that he was taken out of context, and that, you know, he was basically trying to say that better health care will lead to less population, which I don't see how that correlates. But it also says that, you know, he does want less population, but he's investing in contraception in Africa and these kind of things, which you can see in the clip as well. So, you know, it's a difference without really, it don't matter. The fact is, he's on a depopulation iris, you know, and we have to just take that he's currently the largest owner of farmland in the United States. For I and I who live in the United States, is this a good sign? You know, genetically engineered food, all of these things. You know what I mean? You read in between the lines. You know, we have to be very careful on this YouTube platform. What we say, we're just reasoning. Family, we're just reasoning. I just want I and I, as we build Zion, because this is a channel about the positive. But we're not an illusion. This is not a fantasy channel. This is a real life channel. So we're just saying, in the face of opposition, and for my Rastafari brethren, young brethren, lion pride, why the discipline is so important. Because, you know, this is why you often see Rastafari, we take that militant, military, with epaulets, khaki suit and them thing. That's where the khaki suit them come from. His Majesty's Field Marshal General. Have to be militant. We have to be serious in what we are doing. So a lot of stories have been done about testing of vaccines, different medication in Africa. Films have been made about it, how the pharmaceutical industry dump their product in Africa to test. Again, is this part of population control to just indiscriminately test, do things? We have to decide. But again, there's a lot of information out there. Do the research, and this is why the uprising of Africa is so important. I going there to work with the people, build schools, healthcare centers, the building of Zion. That's why I keep using this terminology, the building, because we have to get into a build modality, and we're not recreating the cities of the West. We're creating a new paradigm, sustainable, type of living. Again, that Edenic transformation is the people. It starts within the heavens, or the iris, which is your brain, and then the heavens descending, manifesting physical. That means I and I are the instruments, the generation that come to implement this Edenic heavenly state on earth. We have proof of concepts out there. We live it during our festivals and festivities. You feel the vibration, the joy of Zion. We cannot sustain it currently because we have to go back into Babylon, into the matrix to eat our bread. And then we try to carve out the little time. We want to cut out that whole thing, create our own economies around the islanders. So it's just full time into what we are doing and our culture and our way of life. In Mount Zion, there will be no sorrow. I never say challenge, because challenge builds character. There will be no sorrow in terms of the type of things born of wickedness in Babylon.
Most of you should have heard about this by now. Two French doctors during a TV debate were discussing testing coronavirus vaccines on people in Africa. One of the doctors, Jean-Paul Mira, said they should do the study in Africa since there are no masks, no treatments, no resuscitation, just like as it is done elsewhere for some studies on AIDS. With over 1.2 million confirmed cases worldwide at the time of this recording, the African continent currently has the least cases of coronavirus in the world, 8,701, with the majority of the cases being in South Africa. So it seems asinine to recommend testing a vaccine in Africa when the majority of the cases are in Europe, Asia, and North America. It would make more sense to leave Africa alone. Test the vaccine on healthy people in their country. If they believe in their vaccine so much, why don't the doctors test it out on themselves, since they're going to be face to face with infected people on a daily basis, instead of using African people as their guinea pigs? Letters with Cymer's official letterhead were found suggesting that the CIA and British intelligence had involvement in the mass genocide. Alexander Jones confirmed on camera that Cymer had operated with the support of the CIA and British intelligence, used bogus vaccinations to spread HIV virus in the SADC region. He says we were at war, black people in South Africa were the enemy. He confessed that he and his Cymer colleagues spread the virus in the 80s and 90s under the command of their leader, Keith Maxwell. I'm going to play a few clips of this interview so you can see how important it is that we don't fall for these tactics again.
And he was experimenting on black people.
He was running a number of clinics in the black townships.
Yes.
Pretending to be a medical doctor, offering medical assistance to black people at a very low cost. And people we talked to tells us about how he was experimenting on black people. In the Congo, Maxwell ends up at a secret jungle laboratory funded and operated by the US Army. Here, research is being done into biological warfare and how to weaponize viruses. So, simply put, what is Cymer?
Cymer was a clandestine mercenary organization for hire.
Financed by whom?
Financed by foreign governments. Well, it was clandestine operations. We were involved in coups, taking over countries for other leaders. We were involved in Mozambique, spreading the AIDS virus through medical conditions. One of the things was that we went into African countries.
And how was that done exactly?
Through inoculation.
Through vaccines?
Yeah, through vaccines. Pretending to inoculate people and that type of thing.
The idea being to kill black people?
Yeah, to eradicate black people. You must understand the concept was that AIDS was a killer. It was incurable at that point in time. So it was led to believe that if you infected people, it was the quick, non-militaristic approach to eliminate black people.
And that is something you know for a fact, that AIDS was actively being spread to other countries?
Yes, to African countries. We were at war. Black people in South Africa were the enemy.
But so it was about white supremacy?
Definitely. Definitely trying to retain the white supremacy on the African continent.
And furthermore, he tells us that the purpose of Maxwell's clinics in and around Johannesburg was to infect black people with HIV.
These were research facilities for them to inject people with a solution to see that they prevented AIDS in it. In the meantime, they were injecting people with AIDS.
And he was only working on black people in these clinics?
Yes, yeah.
For almost nothing?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you know what, I mean, what easier way to get a big guinea pig that you live in the apartheid system, black people have got no rights, they need medical treatment, there's a white philanthropist coming in and say, you know what, I'll open up these clinics and I will treat you, I will do this, and meantime you actually the wolf in sheep's clothing.
That's gruesome.
So you can see South Africa during apartheid, secret agencies that were fomenting war, chaos, injecting people with HIV allegedly. You know, we always say HIV was man-made. You always hear that. You always hear, you know, the spread. You always saw Africa was, you know, the highest. But now you can see why black people are distrustful. We know about the Tuskegee experiment in America. I did look online. The Guardian ran an article about this brethren, Keith Maxwell. Dangerous brother, as you can see, who allegedly ran a covert operation against black people for the sole purpose of destroying African liberation and making, you know, Africa a land for white people to get their resource and to live. So again, if there's a Keith Maxwell in that time, the brother passed in 2006, then don't feel like his younger counterpart is not active right now and even more advanced and, you know, working on a higher level than this, the president. So these are things, but how we are going to deal with them again is the discipline, collective security, working together. His Majesty is going to deal with them. Heart attack. Because trust me, when I working together, Nyabingi Ada can deal with them Monday through the heartbeat, you know, skete slap, you know, a man drop, lightning strike a man drop down to stroke, heart attack, belly ache, all kind of thing, earthquake, lava splash, you know, and I have them powers there as, you know, Rastafari family, but we have to be in tune, the heartbeat have to work. And that's another way of just saying, leave them to the Almighty will deal with them. Make I trod within that divine frequency. That's our role. You have to know your lane and your role. There are death angels out there too, just like there are fire angels and different type of angels. So they are ones who are there to execute judgment on the wicked. That is not I role. So we have to leave them, but we have to be aware that that is there. So the loosey-goosey can't work right now, family. That is the moral of the story. Why I try to tell you, a lioness chad, loosey-goosey thing cannot work.
We may be poor, but we are not stupid. We can read when they write on the vaccine that this is not for distribution in the United States, and this cannot be used in the European Union. This injection cannot, this vaccine cannot be used in Europe. They're even telling you that this is not for us because they've got some other substandard stuff that they make for us. How do you know the injection that was given to President Biden is the same vaccine that is coming here? You didn't check it when they put it on him. You have not compared that vaccine to the vaccine you have received. You can watch it on CNN and say, even President Biden got a dosage of it. Are you sure? Did you see it? Did you get the drop and analyze it that it's the same drop getting into an African's body? I think that we need to be more responsible. And our salvation outside God will be by responsible governments on the continent of Africa. Corrupt governments, those who are just looking for money from the West, are going to kill their people like fools. We shall die like fools if we have a government which is corrupt and is only waiting to be given money by the international community. We should never accept everything that comes to us without verifying it ourselves. So I shall not debate myself our reservations on the privileged information that we hold about the coming vaccine. I think I shall leave that out. I shall not deal with it. Suffice to say that I would not inject it into my body, my children's, or those I love who happen to be all Zambians. This position can only change if it is established by ourselves that the vaccine is safe.
You know, we're not going to speak on the vaccine and the validity, but you listen. We saw what happened in Africa. What they thought was going to happen in Africa did not happen. They thought Africa would be ravaged by COVID. But because of the underdevelopment and their inability to get the vaccine to the people actually had the least deaths of any major continent from COVID. And we give thanks. And that's why the stone that the builder refused shall become the head cornerstone. We just have to be wise. And to the brethren's point, before anything comes from the West, we need to have the ability to test it. That's the main thing that I take away. We need to have the own scientists deconstruct. Don't just take, just like you don't take a split from a man that's rolled already, pre-roll. Rastafari brethren and sisters don't deal with pre-roll. We have to see the herb and inspect and know, because you know the lace I thing and then say Ray. No. You know what I mean? We don't share spliff either, because life people that live the dirty lifestyle, they're out there in the fecal federation, in the pink eye posse, doing all manner of abomination. So, you know, we don't share spliff a road and them thing there. Discipline, family. These are the things that we are talking about now. Is militant time, Armageddon time, World War III time. So build your family, love your family, stay disciplined, stay within the confines. Brethren, if you're treading single, search for the queen, vet the queen. You know, we have videos on that. We're going to be talking about the lion love so that you can find your queen to help. You know, you need that helpmate right now to execute your purpose. Trust I. We're going to be doing a lot of content coming forward. Again, the repair. You know, before we seek reparation from Babylon, we have to do the healing ourselves. We're going to do a episode on mental health, all of these things as well. So stay tuned, because we have a lot that's coming up, a lot that we're going to talk about. I have different ones that we're going to be bringing here on the Lion's Voice. So again, just big up yourself, and you know that we're going to have all different types of content on the platform as the content expands. So temporarily, as I said, we are suspending the schedule. Things will drop when they drop, but just know that we are going to, all of the shows will be coming forward. Drop the comments on the shows that you love, that you want to see more of, what you want to see more of on the channel, and we will work to get that. We have a lot of content to roll out to the item. You're going to see more clips, all of them things there we're working on. We need to get to 2,000 Lion Pride. We've been at a plateau for a time, hovering around 1980. We need 20 more. The channel just dropped, slow down, back when we come forward from St. Croix. Stop posting for 7 days. The algorithm kicked me off of the frequency there. So me I try build forward. So whatever you can do, Lion Pride, go forward and watch the whole episode. Them share, like, comment. Let's make YouTube know that the Lion Pride are roar. We're still there. We're just getting started. Give thanks. Also, I have to take time to mention we lost great elder Baba Aduno. Today is his funeral. We would have already gone to pay our respects to the elder. Archive is gone. We want to just give thanks to have been able to chat with this mighty ancestor who blessed us. We have his interview on the channel. I'm so grateful to the Most High that he allowed I to capture, and I do believe that that was his last interview on the planet, and probably most complete and probably only full interview talking about his life, his journey. And this is again why it's so important for the lion and lionesses to tell their own story. This is why we want to invest, get the resources so we can put it here so these things can live on the second largest search engine on the planet, like YouTube. People can search Baba Aduno and instantly learn and hear the elder from his own voice, not a biographer. It's him telling his own story, what he wanted to talk about, what he didn't want to talk about, talking about His Majesty Marcus Garvey, all of them things there, how he came up with the term no culture without agriculture, is all here on the Lion's Voice Network. And we're going to continue to make sure that we capture these stories from our family, Rastafari Panafrican family, and make sure that we are consistent. There's so much family that we have to do, and we have to make the decision who is going to do it. Who are we waiting for to do these things that we know are necessary? If you keep thinking about it, or you're looking for the thing, it might be the I that has that job to manifest that thing that you're looking or waiting for. So I, have been looking for this Rastafari platform that we could go to get these type of takes, to get this type of content. And so I ended up creating it. And now you ask, why did you create such a platform? And of course, the answer I give is that the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
Yeah, I'm a Gideon. Cataclysmic forces, good over evil. Yeah, for the ghetto youth, worldwide. I see the youths nowadays, they growing up. Wanna know the truth, they wanna know what's up. They got no fear now, they'll call you bluff. They asking questions cause they had enough. Why? Some gone astray cause times is tough. Some walk with the machine, ready to bust. I'ma give you when things get dangerous. No, the ghetto things get dangerous. On the battlefield things get dangerous. Them carry RPG, M16. Got a problem to wipe out your whole team. For American dream, them get scandalous. Them put us into the ghetto, try abandon us. Cause we the remnant of the first sons of Kush. Warrior tribes, we not the ones that push. Just look into them history, see we rebellious. That's cause them systems so unjust. Take the shackles and chains, change them to handcuffs. Release your physical frame, them want your brain. Them a vampire looking for blood to drain. Haile, Selassie come and break every chain. Bob Marley tell them, now we tell them again, yo. We tell them this ain't a game, but this a Armageddon, you got to mentally train. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, or this is heaven on earth, or go burn in the flames. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game. I say I gotta play your hate, cause some things gotta change. I tell them this ain't a game, or this a time for African people to rise. I tell them, earthquake, hurricane, tornado, the wind blows and bring the rains. I got the whole west coast in flames, melt the Arctic poles and flood the seas. Hurricane force winds blow down the trees. Whole earth feel the pain when the bombs release. Read your psalms, release David prophecies. Marcus Garvey said look to the east. Rastafari the Prince of Peace, and Haile, Selassie, I come conquer the peace. Yo, they trap the youths with them luxuries to get the ladies. Gotta drive Mercedes, people killing babies, try to keep us down with AIDS. We descended from kings, now we surround with plague. Man, I kill them brother man to drive the Escalades. I can't stand Babylon and all the mess they made. Teach the youths that them best when them rest in the grave. Wolf trick the lion, got the lion a shade. Can't reach Mount Zion unless you learn to behave. Got to stand firm cause these is perilous days. I tell them, we tell them this ain't a game, but this a Armageddon, you got to mentally train. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, or this is heaven on earth, or go burn in the flames. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game. I say I gotta play your hate, cause some things gotta change. I tell them this ain't a game, or this a time for African people to rise. I tell them, hey yo, I gotta play your hate. I gotta tell these players now's not the time to play. Some say that they got no time to pray. Some just say that these is the last days. Yo, the devil wanted us to go astray, took us from our lands millions of miles away. Got us to stay focused on material things and never teach the ghetto youth that they descend from kings. Got us to trade away your life for ice and some rims. Rubber Babylon, them got your mind a spin. Can't lose, right now's the time to win.